So to make our Momma Octopus, we need a lighter, scissors, row counter, stitch marker, a little bit of polyfill, a little more than that obviously, but that's just what it looks like. For my yarn, I am using my scrap ball, but this is about a skein and a half, so your main color, that's what you'll need about. So 32 plus another 15, 16 yards, so you're looking at like 48 to 50 yards on the safe side. And then your accent color, you need like half a skein, so like 17 yards would be plenty. And then you would need your eyes, so you can either use blanket yarn and embroider your eyes, or you can use chunky black and white to make your eyes. And that's what you'll need for the Momma. You'll need extra supplies for the Baby Octo. You'll need at least half of a skein of the color that you want to use for that. I'm going to start with the body. You're going to find your end. We're going to leave a decent sized tail. Normally we would be closing up the bottom, but we're going to be leaving it open, but we're going to be putting the pouch in the bottom, and we need to leave a tail to seal the two together around the bottom. So creating our slip knot, taking your working yarn over that tail side, and then you're going to pull up a loop. Pulling on the tail tightens the knot, pulling on the working yarn adjusts the size of this loop. This loop you'd like it to be kind of like 2 fingers width. And we're going to be chaining on a total of 9 loops for this first chain. So there's 3. So there's our 9. Now we're going to be creating a circle. So as always in my tutorials, I give you the option. If you want to go counterclockwise, make your circle so you go around, take this tail to the top, and then you go to the top of this chain. Second last one. If you want to go in a counterclockwise direction, then you're going to go to that second last chain and pull the yarn tail through the bottom of where the loop is coming out of, and then adjust this first loop. You might need to like twist it around so your working yarn is coming around in that counterclockwise direction or clockwise direction. And now making sure your chain is not twisted in your circle, adjust this to 1 finger's width, making sure you don't have the tail, and you're going to be just pulling up 7 more loops so that you have a total of 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to pull my tail, yarn tail, through just so I don't end up knitting it and just so it's out of the way. So when I use my stitch marker, I do like to use it in the first one. So circle was round 1. Round 2, we're going to be knitting around those 8 again. So pulling from the inside of the circle to the outside of the circle through those loops. That's round 2. Round 3, we're going to be doing a sequence of knit increase times 8. So we'll get 16 loops when we're done doing that around. So we do the knit. And then we increase through this spot in between the loops. And then we go back to the knit and then the increase. Now for the next 7 rounds, we're just going to be knitting around these 16, but this will be rounds 4 to 10. So all you're doing is just going around like that. So I'm actually going to pause and we'll meet up again when I have finished round 10. So here we are. I have finished round 10. So round 11, we're going to be knitting 2 and then a decrease times 4. So that should give us 12. First one will be left over right. Right over left. Left over right. Right over left. Then we're going to knit around these 12. Then we're going to do a knit and then a decrease around so that we're ended up with 8. And again, just alternating right over left over right, sorry. Right over left. Left over right. Right over left. And now you're going to cut yourself 8 to 12 inch yarn tail, whatever you need to close off the top. And you're going to go from the inside to the outside of the loops. And then pull it closed, go in the center, and then come back out, creating this loop. And now you take your yarn tail through that loop and tighten, and you'll want to do that at least twice. And then you're just going to tuck this in. So this is the body. Like I said, we're going to leave this bottom part open. We're going to use this tail to help close it. But first we have to make the pouch. Now, in order for you guys just to see how I'm putting the pouch in, I am going to do the pouch in the accent color, but I would normally do it in the main color, and it's also a scrappy one, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to start it off the exact same way we started off the body. Leave yourself a decent sized tail, create your slip knot, and then you're going to chain 9. Through 4. There we go. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're just going to knit around these 8 for, so that's round 1, for 4 more, for 5. So I'm just going to pause and we'll meet up. So I have done my 5 rounds, cut your yarn tail to close off the top of the pouch, going from inside to outside the loops. Then you pull tight like you did closing off the top, and then do the same thing to anchor the close. So making the loop and pulling your tail through. Now you can leave this tail out because this is going to go inside this. So I'm going to show you, so we're going to add some stuffing to the top part here, and then you're going to leave enough space in the stuffing that this is going to go through, and you can use this yarn tail to go through this top of the octopus and then pull it in so that it goes in nice and neat. But first we need to add the polyfill. So we're just going to add probably like 3/4 of what you would normally leave, or leave enough so that you can fit your hand in there, and then that's enough for that pouch. So we'll meet back when we do that, and then I'll show you how to close up the bottom. So you want to make sure you've pushed it to the sides and you've got a good shape. Now I'm going to take this, like I said, this yarn tail, it's going to have to go through all this fuzz all the way to the top. There we go. So stuffing might come out with it, but it's just gonna, you gotta pull and push, pull and push, so that fits inside. Give it a nice tug so it's really nice in there. And if you wanted to tie it at the top, you can. So now we need to get these two together. So I'm going to start with one going one way and one going the other way. So this pink one, of course, is from the body. So I'm going to go through the body and one stitch or chain space of the pouch. Now I'm in the center, squeeze two together, go to the outside, next two, go to the inside, next two, go to the outside. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. It's probably going to go through this one first, and then back through this, and through that. So it wouldn't really matter that you're seeing this, because if you use the same color as your body, you're not going to see this. It'll also be the same color. Now I'm going to take that to the inside, and I'm going to take this one to the inside. And I'm going to tie them together. And then make sure you push them to the space that's between the pouch and the body. And now you just want to like work your hand, kind of push in the borders so it's kind of nice and flat. Like I said, you could tie this top piece in there, but I'm okay with just sticking it in. So this is the body. And now I'm going to show you, the tentacles are the same as my other octopus that I made. It's the same technique, it's the same way you attach them, but I'm just going to show you, if you've been struggling with the curl, I'm going to give you a little tip. So I'll show you how to do two, and you mark them with your stitch markers or your pieces of yarn so that you've got them properly spaced out. And then I'm going to show you the baby octo that goes inside the mommy. We're just going to set that aside then, the head. The tentacles, if you've done my other octopus tutorial, then this is the same. So you can make them any length you want. I think a good length is between 16 and 18, your beginning chain. And then if you're having problems getting the curl that I achieve, I have just something to show you. So you're going to leave a tail long enough so you can attach it to your body, create your slip knot again, and then do the number of chains that you would like your tentacle to be. So I'm probably going to do 12. So that's not looking very long. I kept this chain pretty tight, which is fine as well. Just because the head is so big, I want the tentacles to have a decent size. So that's 16, 17, 18, 19. We're just going to do 20 just because I switched to a different color there at the end. I'm going to do this first in this color. So take your last loop and adjust it so it is nice and tight and small, 1 finger's width, and you're going to kind of push it away from you so it's facing that way. And then you're going to knit the next one to it. And for this one, you're going to take the back of this loop to the front of this loop, and then you're going to pull through a loop. But now we want to change the color to our accent color. So cut right there. This is going to be hard to see the change because these are almost the same colors, but it happens. I'm going to pull it back a little bit just so I have some room to burn. Make sure you get that middle cord, not just the fuzz. And now we're going to continue up this chain, making the tentacle, but to get the curl, take the front of this loop now to the front of this loop. So instead of taking the back like that, you're going to take the front to the front, sandwich together, and then pull through your accent color loop. And again, another loop, front to front. And just continue front to front. Do you see how we're getting a really nice curl now? Also keeping the loops nice and small and nice and tight, like pulling it really close, nice together. Oh no, there's a break in my accent color. Okay, so then that's our last one there. Now we cut again a decent length, scissors, tail so that we can use it to attach it to the body. So you just pull it through that last loop like this. And now we've got these 2 yarn tails that we take to the body and we figure out where we want them. So you kind of want them towards the bottom, but not too close to the top. And you take one of the tails through one of the spaces and up, and then go up another stitch space, come out the same hole I came out with the other yarn tail, tie them very, very tightly together twice, 3 times, and then you're just going to feed that knot and those yarn tails back in. There we go. So then that's about where I want that. So now I would take my stitch markers, or you can have multiple pieces of yarn, and you want to evenly space them out. So one would go there, put it through your thing until you're ready to do it. One would go there, one would go there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then you'd have them all go around. So if you're needing a review on how to make the tentacle, just rewind that little bit. I'm going to make 8 more. This was an 18 length tentacle. It is quite long. I might make, this will be the longest I make, and then I'm going to make some shorter. So probably a 10 and 12 still in there. And remember, you want your accent color. So this is like the suckies, the suction cups of the octopus. You want the accent color on the bottom when you're attaching. So main color on the top. So I've attached all my tentacles, and now I'm going to do the eyes. Kind of mid-face. I like to go across 2 pieces of yarn in the middle there. And I'm going to wrap my black around like so, and then trim it. Double tie. Not too tight because you want it to be able to slide around the stitch and into the octopus like this, and then you can play with how much is showing. And then take your white, and I'm only going to do 1 like that, and then double tie it. And now I'll show you if you want to give her like some little personality or lashes. So if you want to give it a mouth, usually I like to come in a little bit shallower. So come in from further away. You can use a needle for this too, but this is blanket yarn, just a little bit thinner, Bernat blanket instead of Bernat big. So go down and in there, and then back out towards there. Like so. Then you trim this, tie these together twice, 3 times, whatever, then tuck them away. And if you want to give some cute lashes or something, again, come in from a different spot and then come up through where our eyes are, and then figure out which hole to go to. I think that one will be fine, and then come back out where that end is. There we go. So then that, I guess, is a little bit of an eyelash personality top. I don't know. Looks cute. So let me try it on the other side. It also looks cute just without that. Let's try this side and see if it'll look angry or cute. How far did I go out? Just like 1. So like there, and then come back out where I went in. Yeah, this one's not looking as cute. Ooh. I think if I played with it, I think it kind of looks angry now. Oh dear. Maybe that's okay. Anyways, you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. And you can always take them off if you don't like it. So there would be the face.